Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Manchester City 2, Bayern Munich 1. It's only pre-season, but yeah, only if it's, if you're the loser, yeah, pre-season. But if you're the winner, we just beat the champions of Germany. So, good win at the end of the day, a good performance as well, namely in that second half. There are some decent talking points to come out of the game, and I want to talk straight away. Let's talk about the captain's armband giving straight to Kyle Walker, and we talk about Florian Plettenberg, the Sky Sports German publication journalist. This is an individual that is from a very highly reputable source who has gone out of their way to state over and over that Kyle Walker will not be playing for Manchester City against Bayern Munich. He will not be in the starting lineup. Over and over. For the last 48 hours, that's all I heard. And then it was obviously fear-mongering because first thing we see, number 2, Kyle Walker, captain's armband, he plays. So I think this is a great day for City fans because I think this means Kyle Walker stays. I'm fairly confident. Let's just say my confidence levels shot up when I saw him start because even if he gets a few minutes at the end, it doesn't really mean that much. But the fact that he started the game, again, captain's armband, it was a huge message from Pep to play him. And to go against Florian Plettenberg, and we talk about, you've got to consider some of these legitimate sources that people go on about, and we talk about Fabrizio Romano, a man who consistently gets it right every now and again. I mean, when's the last time he got it wrong? I couldn't tell you. I believe he has got a couple of wrong, never for City. I've never seen him get one wrong for us, but when we're talking about Florian Plettenberg, someone from Sky, you know what I mean? That is the top level journalist we're talking about, who's spreading false shit into the media, and we've got to absorb all that information and we run with it, and we're scared. So we need not panic. And that you got to factor everything I've just said into the Gvardiol situation. So Gvardiol, I think, is going to happen. Just a quick little snippet of news that I read this morning about Gvardiol. It sounds like it's on the add-on side of the game now. The deal sounds like it's very close to being done. This is coming from Build, but it's all down to the add-ons. That's where the deal's falling down. And the actual fee has been agreed. Now we're just talking about stipulations of add-ons. And I believe RB Leipzig deemed that the requirements for an add-on City are setting are too unrealistic. Things like winning a Champions League medal. I'm making that up, that I don't know what the actual stipulations are, but I would guess is it to win the Champions League rather than to get into the semi-final or the final of the Champions League. And RB Leipzig want those stipulations lowered and be more realistic so they get their money quicker. Maybe it's like 10 clean sheets instead of 30 clean sheets. That sort of deal is what we're talking about. And now you're talking about the nitty-gritty details of a deal, which to me sounds more likely to happen than not, whereas the two clubs not agreeing on the initial fee, that's, far apart. That's a problem. That sounds like they are far away. But reports and Build suggest no, not the case. They have agreed the fee, and it's just down to the add-on. So it could be a matter of time. But forget that. Gvardiol, not transfer news. Just a little bit there for you. But let's talk about Kyle Walker's performance, first of all, was really good. We saw exactly going up against Alphonso Davies. I'm going to work my way through the team. Ederson, could he have done better with that goal in the second half? I mean, yes, I think he could. Yeah, I do. I think the parry was a little bit sloppy. It did take a deflection off Sergio Gomez, but at the same time you think, put it somewhere else, not so much straight back into the danger zone for Tell to get a tap in. But other than that, there was, in the first half in particular, some of his hold-up play where Ortega was a little bit ropey in that first half. Ortega actually didn't play well at all against Yokohama. He had this clash with Rico Lewis for one of Yokohama's goals, where you just stay in your net, Ortega. Let Rico Lewis deal with that. That was his ball. It was his ball because he got his touch to it, but Ortega took him out. None of that from Ederson today. I still believe Ortega's a class act of a goalkeeper. I just think he needs to work on the things that Ederson's so good at. But shot stopping, he does seem a touch ahead of Ederson in that particular department. But don't forget the Champions League final. Do not forget that. Ederson won us that at the last game, competitive game. So anyway, John Stones, midfield. It was hard to pick the actual lineup, what we're actually going to talk about in the lineup. But those that joined me in the live stream along, by the way, really appreciate that. If you didn't, come along to the next one. I would really appreciate seeing you guys. We had fun. It was fun. Namely, that's the name of the game, having fun, watching football and talking about City. I got to know some of you City fans' stories, overseas stories, some of you guys local fans and your stories and how long you've been a City fan. You heard about my stories and I'm happy to repeat them for those who didn't didn't hear them. Those sort of details in the lulls of the game, I love talking about that. And the actual game was a spectacle as well. It was a decent game to watch. Reasonably high standard for pre-season, at least. It was fun. So come to the next one. I'd really appreciate seeing it if you're new to the channel. But yeah, John Stones, really good. Diaz, Ake, Lewis, Kovacic, Silva, McAtee, Grealish and Alvarez was the lineup. I thought Stones was solid, really good. Doesn't put a foot wrong, drifting into that attacking role and stepping into defence when needed. Such a hard ask as well. He's got to cover some serious ground, and we're going to need cover. For someone like him who is injury prone, tends to pick up the odd niggle here and there, doesn't he, throughout the season? We are now asking him to do a much more of a physically demanding role in midfield, so be careful with minutes. Same for Rodri last season. He was nearly burnt out, wasn't he? But thank God he didn't for that last Champions League final. But Pep got scraped every single second out of Rodri last season, so be careful. Diaz, solid as a rock, really, really good. Ake, for me, first half man of the match. Absolutely immense. He was off in 28 minutes, injured. Hopefully that's not serious. He was rubbing the side of his right calf. You're just hoping that's not serious, because prior to that, he put in about 6 or 7 vital blocks that were crossing to an empty space or a Bayern Munich player for a simple tap-in. And his defending ability is quality. And then he receives the ball, he's cool and composed on the ball. Ake's such a gem. What a gem of a player he is, and totally underrated. New deal on the cards for him as well. Salary increased, fully deserved. Rico Lewis, arguably alongside for man of the match performance in that first half, alongside Ake. Ake doesn't get it because he went off injured. Rico played the full 45, so if I had to pick one, yeah, you'd give it Rico Lewis for playing in an attacking role. So we sign Rico, we bring him through the academy and plays right back. You're like, okay, we've got a decent right back against Bournemouth, and then he plays left back out of position in the Cancelo position. Plays left back, okay, he's got 2 feet, brilliant. Plays defensive midfield. Right, not bad this kid, is he? Now he's playing attacking midfield. Okay, what can't he do? What can't Rico Lewis do? And he bombed it into that penalty area. Brilliant. A bit lucky how it ricocheted back into his path for him to actually get the cross away, but the attempt to play to Alvarez was there before. He got a second opportunity through luck that he created himself. He generated his own luck in that situation by his sheer brutishness of just attacking into the penalty area and bursting forward with purpose. Gets the ball to Alvarez across. Alvarez's finish was a bit weak. Could have done better with that, Alvarez. He was a bit anonymous himself, Alvarez. His finish was slow and sloppy and easy to save, but Sommer should have done better with it. Parries it straight out, bobbles up into the air, in fact, and lands to McAtee, who outside of the goal didn't grab the attention as much as he needs to with this small window of opportunity that he's got in pre-season. He needs to do more than he did. I know he scored, but an 8-year-old could have scored that, in fairness. You know, a good run, you got to be there, great. He followed the run of Alvarez. He predicted something could land to me. Good. That's football thinking. That's great. Fantastic. But outside of that moment, there was a couple of times where it's like, you know, you be a bit braver on the ball a bit, to try and take your man on. But yeah, 45-minute window to impress. Not easy. Not easy task at all. Nerves are going to play a part. You could overpress. You could try to over-impress, Try too hard. Do things that you wouldn't normally do. If you're cool and composed and you know the manager believes in you, you play with that attitude. You play with relaxed feelings and knowing that Pep believes in you. If you're not sure if Pep believes in you, you're going to overthink things, and it's not an easy task. So give him some slack. The same for a few other players as well. Gomez, who came on as well. I think they're starting to overdo things and overhit passes and things like that. But Kovacic looked solid, didn't do anything outlandish, didn't do anything wrong, kept the ball when he was given it, played it simple. Good performance from Kovacic. Over time, I think we'll see him. There was a couple of runs he did where he hopped over a couple of runs and got himself out of a bit of a sticky situation. Good bit of close control, good skills. Bernardo Silva was class, really, really good. Giving Alphonso Davies a run for his money again, like we saw at the Etihad. Really good. I think that means he's staying. The fact that he's played him again, I'm glad because he came off the other day against Yokohama and was injured. Or at least we thought that. It was probably precautionary considering he got the most minutes out of any player today. He came on in the second half. Obviously, Ederson got the full 90. But Grealish was poor in the first half. I didn't think he had a good game. He kept giving it away. I thought he did well against Yokohama, did the simple things really well. And it was no lack of effort from Grealish. He was worked hard. He went out for a throw-in that he thought was his, and he was screaming. He was in the ref's face like, fuck off, referee. Like, yeah, love it. Care. At least you care, mate. He just overdid a few things, and he gave the ball away a couple of times. Just a bit of sloppy play. polishing the pre-season. That's what I'll put it down to, that, polishing his performances, because we know he's better than that. But yeah, bit of a lacklustre performance. I thought Haaland came on and was anonymous, as he always often is. We always say that, and commentators usually have said that and reluctantly end up starting to say, why even bother saying that anymore, because he usually is anonymous, and then bang, he'll go and get you a goal. He very nearly did. There was 2 opportunities, similar opportunities, where the ball's like coming down over the top and he brings it down. The defender did well. Got the ball, controlled it, got it out of his feet, got the shot away. That was his only option. Haaland did as good as he could in that particular situation, and the defender both times did well to stop the shot. Other than that, not much to write home about in terms of Erling Haaland. For me, the standout performer in the second half was Oscar Bob. I thought he was fantastic. The way, the confidence that he's got, he was bringing it down, and the touches were Mahrez-esque. So have we got our replacement already? His link-up play with Bernardo Silva was fantastic, really, really good. Maximo Perrone only came on in the last 10-15 minutes. He had a couple of nice touches, laid it off to Haaland at one point, where Haaland was actually, it was such a good touch that even Haaland wasn't expecting it, and Haaland was caught flat-footed. So yeah, Perrone needs more time, and he's not really being given any, so it's hard to judge him one way or another as a fan. Pep obviously sees him in training and is not giving him the minutes that he might feel like he's deserving of, but, you know, we have to give some players some time here. But I'm just quickly looking at the rest of the players. I thought Phillips was good when he came on. He looked assured, someone who could well be trying to over-impress and try and get his name into Pep's thinking. Didn't do that. It looked good today. Didn't overdo it. Didn't play badly. And it's like I was saying in the live stream, it's a position that's hard to express yourself in defensive midfielder. It's all about the simple side of the game, playing in defensive midfield and keeping it steady Eddie, you know, and he did that. That's all you can ask of him. There was one nice ball to Haaland. One of those Haaland chances that I just described came from Calvin Phillips, so that was good. A nice little ball, and that's the range of passing that we know Calvin Phillips has got, so more of that, please. Laporte, quality, solid, came on. It wasn't like Diaz even left the pitch. The solid centre-back was there. I thought Cancelo, which is a major talking point, was fantastic. Was absolutely fantastic. Really good performance from Cancelo. And I hate to say it because I'm still annoyed with how the whole situation's been handled by him personally. His behaviour, his attitude, and certain social media digs, as well as certain comments to the media directly about Thomas Tuchel winning him a Champions League, training in the Portugal tops when he's just about to start for City, and a little snide comment. Yeah. If he's apologised, I would like to know. I would feel better. I could sleep at night. I sleep okay. We won a treble. I sleep perfectly fine. Treble, no problem. But in terms of Cancelo, when I think about him, it keeps me awake for an extra 10 seconds. Like, why is he such a knob? Why did he do that? Why did he say those things? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't need to be like that. I feel like there is a conversation happened that we're not privy to. We have not been made aware of it. I just feel like if there is a fork in the road where it's like, you're playing for City, you're not playing for City. If he goes down that road that says he's playing for City, then he needs to do something as a statement in social media, or Pep or the club need to interview him and show that we as fans need to know where your mind's at. And I think that's important because we got booed at the Etihad. You know what I mean? So he needs to be welcomed back with open arms. And if we start booing him, he ain't going to play well, is he? He's not going to feel welcome then, is he? And I mean, yeah, he's done that to himself, mind you. It's not our fault. Do you know what I mean? He's the one who kicked off and spat his dummy out. But now you're seeing this player who played as a right centre-back, a position I openly stated a couple of videos ago that he can't do that. He can. He did very well. He sized Mane up really, really well. And any time he was asked to defend, he did a good job. Mane trying to dive over his foot when he let him go past. You make a fool of yourself, Mane. No problem. Referee having none of it. Get up, Mane. But yeah, no, Cancelo going forward was quality defensively. Just quality. Just really, really good performance. Sergio Gomez needs to improve a little bit. I think he was, again, trying to over-impress. Rodri, just say that. That's it. Rodri was Rodri. Bloody brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. But how much does it matter, really? I think the statement, the performance, it's good omens are starting to show their faces now. Good feelings are starting to present themselves. Walker is staying by the looks of it. Bernardo Silva is staying by the looks of it. So we talk about all the panic that's gone on prior to this game in particular. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were talking about all these players are leaving Manchester City. Right now, Gundogan, who's gone, has been replaced by Kovacic. And there is a very good chance that he could come close to filling the boots of Gundogan. Even maybe he could do it because he's got years ahead of him. He's got to give him time. He's only just joined us. Mahrez, he's the only one who's not been replaced. So bar Mahrez, this is a treble-winning side. This side will win the treble. He's good enough to do it. I believe in that. And Oscar Bob, no Cole Palmer today. That was an interesting one. People were highlighting that in the stream as well. Yeah, what's gone on there? Why didn't he get a single minute? I believe he was on the bench, but I didn't see it. He was named in, I can't remember where he was named. He wasn't named on City's website, but other publications were listing Palmer on the bench, but I didn't see him. I didn't see his face at all. So you're wondering what's going on there. Has Oscar Bob overtaken him in Pep's thinking? Different players. Does he see Oscar Bob now ahead of Cole Palmer? Harsh on Palmer, but that's the nature of the beast. So maybe Oscar Bob is our replacement. Could he step up to the plate and be Mahrez? No. Obviously, we've got Elise to think about as a replacement. Barcola is another player. Rafinha is another player that's been linked to City. So numerous players have been linked, none of which are as good as Mahrez. So we're talking about underneath the level of Mahrez, every player that's been mentioned so far. Could we just save our money and go with Oscar Bob? Bernardo Silva can definitely play out there, and that is not under the level of Riyad Mahrez. Different type of player, I'll give you that, but it's not in terms of the output, Bernardo Silva, I'd be quite comfortable knowing he's there instead of Mahrez. Quite comfortable. But Blues, get in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about the game? Do you think it matters? Have we sent a statement beating Bayern Munich again? We've done it again. Those German giants must be getting pretty sick of the sight of us. Get in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, Blues. Like and subscribe. Typical City is the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up Silva.